Good evening and welcome to Voice of the Parrot. I'm your host, Shasta Ray, and I am joined in the studio tonight by Murray, the cockatiel. He's just hanging out on my shoulder. We have been spending tons of time together lately, and oh my gosh, he's just the best little friend in the whole world. Holy cow, I love this bird. He's my everything. And he's starting to learn a couple new words lately. They're pretty garbled. Some of them he's not even trying yet, but he's very intrigued and he's studying. So that's pretty cute. Oh my goodness. So anyway, here we are again. This is just a short little intro as we continue the conclusion of our summertime fun with reruns in the sun or whatever we're calling it. Anyway, last week we had the ever hated on topic of wing trimming. And this week I am going to reprise the episode that I followed up that episode with. One of our listeners had wrote in with a really great idea, so I presented it as an episode, and we're going to present that tonight. So it's awesome. Stick around. Now, oh my gosh, I have mentioned over and over, and I still have not revealed what the chaos is, but my past summer has been incredibly chaotic. I've got things going on that I never dreamed possible, and wow, I need a vacation. And I took a vacation, but I really can't afford a vacation, and I don't have time for a vacation. So you know what I did is I placed an order for more bird toys with Mile High Parrot Supply, and I took a day to drive up there, listen to my favorite podcasts again. I packed Murray into his carrier, took him along. He loves showing off for those guys and flapping around and being silly and stuff. And they mixed up a seed order while I waited. Oh my gosh, the birds are happy. So with that fresh on my mind, I just want to let you know, if you're in the market for some bird toys or some bird supplies, maybe a bird seed mix, check out their website, milehighparrotsupply.com, and use promo code VOICE20, that's VOICE 20, for 20% off your entire order, not including live birds. That will not get you 20% off a live bird. But their stuff is excellent and their prices can't be beat, so take a look-see. Oh my goodness. Next, all podcasts are different and everyone who creates them have different thoughts on how to do it. So I might be splitting things up. So traditionally, I have always done my podcasts where it is a full year on each season. And that's kind of how I started this one. But I think I'm going to start making it maybe like every 6 months or so, it'll start a new season. So I think we're going to start season 3 right after Labor Day this year, and that's when we're going to jump back into real episodes. Dum-da-da-dum. It will be the season kickoff, whatever you want to call that. So stay tuned for that. And I am always open for all of your comments, your questions, your ideas. If you know anyone that would make a fantastic guest for an episode, hit me up. Some of the easiest ways to hit me up are on Twitter, which is now X, also Facebook. I have a page on Facebook and Instagram, and you can message me on all of those platforms. You can also send me an email, and that would be at voiceoftheparrot@gmail.com. Pretty easy. voiceoftheparrot@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. All right, let's just get on with things. This is a really great episode, and it had a lot of downloads. So I know that people liked it, and it's very informative. I hope it gives you some great ideas for helping train and bond with your bird. Kick back, settle in, and here you go. Well, hello, and welcome to Voice of the Parrot. I'm your host, Shasta Ray, and I am joined in the studio tonight by Murray, the cockatiel. He is across the room on Zoltan's playstand, and I gave him some spray millet to try to keep him away from my mouse pad. Oh my gosh. He just loves to get up in what I'm doing and try to destroy my laptop and everything, so I gotta watch him when I have him around my equipment. He's crazy. But that's what birds do. If they love you, they want to see what you're doing, and they perceive it as something you're playing with or exploring, so they want to do the same. So make sure you keep all your electronic equipment safe out there, everyone. That's my helpful tip for the evening. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I am just going to start off really quick tonight with an addendum to last week's episode. Usually every time I post an episode, I listen in after the final edit and after it's published to see if there's anything that I forgot or I didn't edit right or what, check the sound quality basically. And oh my gosh, there was a huge chunk that I don't know how it got cut out, but it must have got highlighted or something during the editing process and I hit delete and didn't realize it, ? Anyway, somewhere in the very early part of the episode, I started to welcome all of the new subscribers on the YouTube channel, and I was talking about that a little bit. So I still have a very small following on YouTube, and I'm kind of campaigning. If you haven't gone to the YouTube channel yet, just go over to YouTube, do a search for Voice of the Parrot. I should come right up with my little parrot logo, and I do post episodes of the podcast there. When I have some cute little interesting content, little shorts or whatever, something that the birds are doing that's cute or whatever, I put that up there. But I'm not real consistent. I'm not daily on that. It's just kind of when I have content. I really have some ideas going through my head. I might be ramping that up soon. And so the way you support the show by subscribing to YouTube, for example, is it helps get my numbers up. They're already running ads on that platform on my channel. And once I hit 500 subscribers and I have enough listen time or watch time on that channel, then I start getting a small little slice of the pie when it comes to ads, which is really nice. It will go back in to offset some of the costs of putting this podcast on every week. And that applies to any of your favorite YouTube channels. If you want a way to support your favorite creator, one of the best ways to do that is to subscribe to their channel. Or if it's TikTok, I think they call that follow. I am off of TikTok now as far as Voice of the Parrot goes. I might start that back up again eventually. I don't know. But I'm kind of more into the YouTube universe, I think. But anyway, when you follow or subscribe, that signals the algorithms that, the content is likable, and they start putting it into other people's eyes that have similar interests. And then also hitting the like button and giving positive, happy feedback helps tremendously too, because that signals those algorithms that the content is watchable and likable. And then that's where they want to put those ads. So it's a big system is what it is. So when you're on Facebook and you get likes or reaction emojis, all that is, nothing. It's popularity and that's it. It doesn't really help your content. So when it comes to content where you can make money off of the ads, that's actually very helpful. Another thing that you can do to support the show is if you're listening on a podcast app like Apple Podcasts, I think Spotify, or the Podbean app. Those allow you to give a thumbs up or a like or a little heart emoji and leave comments. So that always helps too. And that gets me seen in front of other podcasters with similar interests. Yay, it's a beautiful thing. Speaking of which, March 2024 was the best month to date of Voice of the Parrot. Yay, there's more of you listening in. I'm finally getting seen by some people. It's awesome. I have had some positive feedback on the Instagram channel, and I am terrible at Instagram. I really apologize. But I do get your messages, so if you go find me on Instagram, woohoo! All the better for me. Maybe I will start learning that platform. Also, if you're a Facebook person, I do have a Facebook page out there. Just look for Voice of the Parrot, and you can do a like or join or whatever it's set up for. And every week, I post a link to the episode on Facebook. So if you're a Facebook junkie, maybe that's your platform. I also do that with Twitter. I always put a link to the weekly episodes on Twitter. It's now X, I guess. So yeah, that's a couple different ways to follow. I love getting listener feedback. I got a couple of different people just giving me a good atta-girl over the cookbook review episode, as well as the, believe it or not, wing clip episode. So thank you for the positivity and the kind words. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep those people anonymous per their request. And don't forget, I've also got a slowly growing, and I haven't really added anything recently, Etsy shop with some cool stuff. If there's nothing that you like immediately that you see, hit me up. I can do custom work. So I'm happy to do that. And with that said, I want to give a shout out to Evelyn and Steve. They had me do some custom work for them and loved it. So I was happy to do that. And congrats for being my first 2 custom customers. That was fun. Really quick, this is going to be kind of a shorter episode. Just get it in your ears, put some happy information in front of you, and if it applies, it applies. If it doesn't apply, maybe you'll use it some other time or you can pass it along to someone else. I did have listener feedback from one person on the wing clip episode remind me that one alternative is to harness train your birds. So I wanted to talk about that for just a little bit because I've seen it done wrong. Here again, on YouTube, you see a demonstration and someone is stressing out their poor bird that's never seen a harness, and then they get bit. Gotta wonder how they get the thing off of the bird afterwards. So anyway, the brand name that I have seen people rant and rave and have positive reviews on the most is the Aviator harness, and I believe the website is just www.aviatorharness.com, and it seems like they've got a really good product. I have not tried it. I have not ordered one from Murray, and I probably should. I should probably, maybe entertain that idea, but I'll be honest, I'm so overprotective of him. I am just terrified of the leash failing or something. But here, I'll give you a quick rundown on it. So, like I said, I've seen these done the wrong way, and I've seen some really great tutorials out there. You can go look for them. They may even have something on their website. I'm not sure. You'll have to go look. But basically, well, okay, case in point. Let's just back out of the harness conversation for just a second. Sometimes birds can take a while to warm up to new objects, and you have to be prepared for this. I got Murray a really, really cool hanging perch wood thing. I'm not sure what they call it, but I got it from Mile High Parrot Supply, and he usually has the floor stand ones and the tabletop sized ones and stuff, but he had a hanging perch thing. And I made a frame for it out of PVC pipe and wrapped it and everything with cord so that little feet can grip on the perch parts and stuff. And then there's this really nice hanging perch. Well, the budgies are pretty fearless and they'll go sit on it. They'll fly over there and hang out on it, whatever. And Murray, oh my gosh, it's been like 3 weeks and he still won't let me even walk near the thing. For the first week and a half to 2 weeks solid, he would just, if I even tried to take him near it, he would scream and fly defiantly through the house, screaming and just carrying on. And oh my gosh, the drama. Holy cow. And now he'll let me kind of get near the perch and he'll fly away, but he doesn't scream as much. And then I made another smaller little perch play gem thing. And they're all the same. Like they have one that they play on regularly that he hangs out with the budgies on. But make a new one that looks different, even though it's the same materials. Oh my gosh, when I was putting that together last weekend, he was just going nuts. He would just scream and fly through the house. He was just terrorized by the PVC pipe I was working with. So be aware, some species of birds are going to be a little bit more accepting of new objects than others. This can apply to toys in their cage. You find the perfect shred toy, you put it in their cage, the perfect mental stimulation toy, you put it in the bird's cage, and they won't even go to that side of the cage for a month. And it's kind of a joke amongst bird owners, you will experience this. But they have to get used to it and make sure that it's not a threat, and that's just part of their being a bird. It's a safety built-in feature to their personalities, so it can be kind of comical. But when it comes to a harness and harness training, they could be terrorized from a harness. So don't break your trust with your bird, and it could take up to 2 or 3 months of regular training before your bird is going to accept wearing this. And you have to do it in tiny, tiny little steps sometimes. And the first step might be getting a safety pin and just pinning the harness to your shirt close to your shoulder. So when your bird is hanging out on your shoulder or it's sitting on your hand and you're holding your hand kind of close to you or whatever, that it can see that harness is part of you and it's not hurting you. So they'll kind of get used to it because it's in some intimate space anyway. And once they start getting used to it, they're not showing fear of it, you can start working with clicker training to get their head through the little head opening, and that can take a while. Don't rush your bird, and I have never done this training before, so I can only give you kind of the quick rundown. Oh, here comes Murray. He's looking very curious, and I'm going to hide the mouse pad. Oh dear, here we go. He also likes to jump up and down on my keyboard and change the resolution of my screen and all sorts of stuff. He has done some damage. He's a crazy man. He really is. Okay, so back to the harness training. The main thing is you want to take it slow with your bird so it doesn't get freaked out. Wear the harness around, pin it to your shirt for a little while, make sure the bird's not terrorized, and then use target training and clicker training and use treats that are a high value treat, and you do tiny little baby steps to start getting your parrot to put its head through the head loop and get comfortable with that. It also needs to be very comfortable with you checking its wings and being able to touch its wings even briefly. And a lot of birds don't want their wings touched, so that can be a process. Make sure you find a resource to learn this that is not me, because here again, I'm just giving you some ideas and the brief rundown and the basic concepts. This is not a training audio presentation, but I'm basically doing this so you know that it is a process and what your expectations could be with this, so you don't lose trust with your bird. That's my main concern. So yeah, this could take a while. So you're going to make sure the bird's comfortable with the harness in its space, in its presence. You're going to start out with getting it to put its head through a loop, and there's a process with that. You're going to use treats and a lot of patience, and keep your training sessions very short so that they're successful each time and the bird doesn't get frustrated with you. Then you're going to work on getting its wings through that harness and tightening up the straps, but not too tight because you don't want it to be squeezed in the wrong way. That's very bad. And then the other concept with these harnesses is that the leash they come with, the line, is connected to you, like with the wrist strap, and it's elastic. So if the bird gets spooked and it goes flying off, that leash, if you will, is going to stretch out to full capacity, and then it'll start to contract, which turns the bird around and brings it right back to you. Even if it's freaked out, it's just going to be yanked kind of gently to you in an elastic sort of way. So it's a very good way to start getting your bird used to getting out of the house with you in a safe manner so it doesn't get away from you. I would not advise doing this with budgies. I think they're pretty small birds to do this with. I think some people might. I don't know. I know they make harnesses for birds that small, but it just seems like it would either come off of them very easily or it would just be too big of straps. I don't know. I've seen them online and I just thought they looked awkward. So I would probably not try this with anything smaller than a cockatiel or a conure, maybe, green cheek conure. But, you know, I would love to hear from people if you've got birds smaller than that you've put harnesses on them successfully. Here again, just make sure you have a really good bond with your bird and you do the acclimation process and the training process at their pace so that they don't get frustrated with you or terrified of the harness. They're probably going to be itchy and not real crazy about it at first, and make sure that you can operate the straps easily and quickly, and try not to get yourself bit, especially if you have a bird with a larger beak and a little more power behind that beak. But yeah, birds can take a little bit of time to get used to something new. I've even seen some theories out there that if you always handle your bird with your right hand, for example, your left hand might be an entirely different entity than your right hand. And Zoltan was like that at first. The guy at the pet store that grabbed him and then carried him around, I think I told that story on his episode, he was scared of, I think it was left hands for a long time. And he wouldn't get near my left hand because that's how the guy carried him around, or his right hand, one or the other. It's been 2 years. Wow, time flies. Anyhow, they just have different ways of thinking, and we have to keep that in mind. They are not human. They are not going to have human logic, and they're going to have their own comfort levels. And not only is each species of bird going to be different, but every individual within that species is going to have its own personality, its own parameters of comfort, and that sort of thing. So work at the bird's pace and comfort levels, and you'll have success. But educate yourself first on the process. Make sure you're very, very secure that you know the process and understand it so that you can engage with your bird properly and not make it more fearful in the process. So, yes, yay, great question and great follow-up comment for the wing clipping alternatives. Awesome idea. Thank you very much. And that listener is going to remain anonymous also, per their request. Cool. Yeah, like I said, kind of a short one this week. Easy, simple, good information, upbeat. And I do feel that there is value in mentioning that Murray jumped down on my shoulder. He has been being very well behaved. I'm very proud of him. He is just the best little friend ever. I cannot believe how tight I have bonded in, it's been almost 12 months, Murray. It's almost been a year. I got him at the very end of April last year, so we're coming up on the 1-year gotcha day for him, but he has been so good today, and he was hanging out at my desk while I was working, and we were having some fun, and then he kept himself entertained in the bird room for a while too, so he's really coming into his own and getting a little bit of independence going on. It is so fun to watch these birds change and mature as they get older. Even Zoltan, he is so cute. I found an original post that I made right after about the first week I had him. And I was thinking back and it's like, oh my gosh, Zoltan has changed so much since that tiny little young terrified budgie I brought home all those many, many, many months ago, 2 years or so ago. Holy cow. He is just another best little friend. And, they're so different because they're such different little birds. But at any rate, go play with your birds, everyone. Go hang out with them, find something to do, and start training them. Start finding some bonding games or something to do with them. You will be amazed at the kinds of things that your bird will learn or might teach you. One or the other. Maybe both. All right, we'll catch you next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.